All right, I think I'm ready. Hey guys, my name is Olivia, and today is actually my first time recording, so forgive me if I stutter a little bit, but I wanted to show you my process on how I paint my portraits. This one right here is something that I've been working on the past week, and I have a few people who wanted to know what it looked like, so I recorded for you guys a time lapse, which I'll play for you. But I also wanted to talk through it, see if I can explain what I'm thinking in my head, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. First of all, let me show you what it looks like finished. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. There we go. So I went over this face about 4 times and I'm pretty happy with it. I really like the color variation. I like the looseness of the hair. Let's see here. Sorry if the camera is really wobbly. And I kind of kept it loose except for the face. This hand here is pretty loose. I'm probably going to touch up that thumb later. But the grass I'm really happy with. Very impressionistic. But when you step back, it looks like grass enough to me. Okay, let me move this around real quick. And we're going to start the video. So what I'm doing right here is keying in. Next time I record, I should record my palette. My palette isn't very organized. That's why I didn't do it. So perfect. Right here I start keying in the large shapes. I just need a general idea of where the head, the body, the hand is, but I start moving it around. I'm not really focused on getting it perfect. I'm still working on my drawing, to be honest with you. I just hate drawing with pencil and charcoal. It's just, it's too dry. So here I start putting in a little bit of flesh tone and a lot of gray flesh tones. I like to start out with a grayer flesh tone because I tend to push colors and I don't want it to look too cartoony. Like I want it to look realistic. I also don't want it to look too subdued, but I like to do things in layers. But you can tell the face here is really gray. I had to go over the face 4 times because the color is really difficult. So I'm adding a little bit of warmer tones. When I paint, I always try to be mindful of having contrasting warmer tones and cooler tones. You can see a little bit of the purple color that I used here by the nose bridge and the eyebrow. Pulling out the darks. Right here, it's really important for me to get the movement of the hair because I don't like to touch hair. I don't like to work hair in layers. I feel like hair should feel like it has movement, and so I tend to be very accurate with my hairstyles in the very beginning because I just don't know how to work hair in layers, and I feel like it starts to look a little weird. Still just adding colors. This is still my first layer. Again, just very subdued flesh tones. Okay, perfect. So this transition here, I actually let this dry, and now I'm adding in more color. I'm gonna be really pushing the colors. So as you can tell on the left side of his cheek, it's slightly purple, and I really start to add color to the lips. And it kind of looks like he's wearing makeup, so I go back and make it more subdued. But here I'm gonna be really pushing colors. This is my second layer. I let the first layer dry, and now I'm going over it again. Adding the darks and the shadows under the nose, under the lip. And here I made his bottom lip really big, and the reason why I did that is because I plan on moving it down, because his face is kind of looking down. And for whatever reason, I naturally made his face looking up like this. So I'm actually gonna move the whole lower part of the nose and the lips down. See, now I'm redoing the line in his lip. So that's a part of me moving it down. And I shift a lot while I paint. I feel like when I do that, it keeps it natural. Again, I'm not the type of person to draw in so that I have it correct the first time. And I've done that before, and my paintings just come out really stiff. So I like the way that my work looks when I don't know ahead of time, and I'm just kind of figuring out how to draw with the paint. So I'm wiping it away, and this is where I really move it down, and that gives the likeness to him more because he just has more space between his nose and his upper lip. Okay, so this next part is the jaw. The jaw can be very difficult because when the light falls on the cheekbone and rounds under the chin, it's a very smooth and subtle transition. So for that, I kind of just start putting on the darks, and then I move that paint around. You'll see that here in a second. Adding the brows, adding the dark under the eye, that's an important one. There you go. This is the jaw part I was telling you guys about. And the shadow that I'm using for that transition is green because I think it's nice for the background and the face to have harmony together. I try not to use black because it really separates the figure from the background. So I'm using the dark green that I used earlier when I was keying in my painting. And right here, I'm using a makeup brush and my finger to kind of smooth out the edges. I don't like the angular look of those long flat brushes. Another thing that I tend to do is instead of hiding a shadow, I just contrast it by pulling out the lights. So I'm pulling out the light in the chin, and it's going to, by enhancing one feature, it thus hides the feature next to it. So that's the idea that I'm using in my head. Right here I'm using a palette knife to flatten the cheekbone. I think that's a nice look for cheeks. I like the way that the paint lays on the cheeks when I'm using a palette knife as opposed to a brush. There we go. Almost done. Just gonna make the eyes a little bit darker to give it that pop, that contrast. Okay, so this is where my video stops, but I hope you guys enjoyed the time lapse. Thank you for watching.